True courage doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't ask if you're ready, sober, or in the right state of mind. Sometimes, heroism emerges from the most unexpected circumstances. This is the story of Sergeant Peter Lemon, a man who defended his base against overwhelming enemy forces while high on marijuana, fought with machine guns, rifles, grenades, and his bare hands, and earned America's highest military honor, the Medal of Honor. Peter Lemon wasn't even born American. On June 5, 1950, he came into this world in Toronto, Canada. But at age 2, his family moved to Alabaster, Michigan, where his father found work. It was in this small American town that Peter transformed into a hardcore patriot. Military service ran deep in his family. Every man had answered the call to duty in their generation's conflict. Growing up in Alabaster's intensely patriotic environment, young Peter developed a carefree and fearless nature. By 7 years old, he could shoot a rifle and led the neighborhood kids like a commander leading troops. When the Vietnam War erupted, anti-communist fervor consumed communities like Alabaster. Like his friends, 18-year-old Peter was eager to fight even if it meant traveling thousands of miles from home. On February 28, 1969, he enlisted. Fort Knox, Kentucky became his first testing ground. The basic infantry training was brutal, designed to prepare recruits for the hell waiting in Vietnam's jungles. But Peter thrived. Being a soldier was his dream, and he threw himself into it with complete dedication. His instructors recognized his natural leadership and made him a squad leader. From Fort Knox, he went to Fort Polk, Louisiana for advanced training, graduating top of his class. 5 months after enlisting, on July 24, Peter Lemon departed for South Vietnam. Unlike most soldiers paralyzed by fear on their first tour, Peter arrived ready to fight. But his patriotic enthusiasm wouldn't survive long. The horrors of combat shattered every illusion he'd held about fighting a righteous war. What he witnessed in those first months revealed a brutal truth: they were trapped in a bloody, futile conflict. The eager boy who'd rushed to enlist now just wanted to survive and get home. Peter wasn't alone in his disillusionment. Countless soldiers shared his despair, desperately seeking escape from the depression that consumed them. The most accessible remedy? Marijuana. In Vietnam, it was everywhere and plentiful. Smoking pot numbed the pain, making the burden of war slightly more bearable. Peter Lemon, like many others, turned to marijuana to ease the crushing disappointment of a war that had betrayed everything he once believed in. In March 1970, Lemon's Unit E Company, 2nd Battalion, 8th Cavalry, 1st Cavalry Division, deployed to fire support Base Illingworth in Tay Ninh Province, just 5 miles from the Cambodian border. The base overlooked a major North Vietnamese army supply route. Officially, the artillery units provided fire support for patrols and reconnaissance teams. But Illingworth served a darker purpose: it was bait. Perched on a hill in the jungle, the base was designed to lure NVA troops into the open where American air power could annihilate them. But the North Vietnamese had learned from past mistakes. They adapted, launching night attacks when air support was useless. April 1, 1970. Just before midnight, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Conrad raised the alarm. Ground surveillance radar detected a large enemy formation moving through the jungle. Sergeant Lemon and his men rushed to their positions, but no one emerged. Conrad fired into the hidden enemy, a warning shot that said, "We know you're there." Silence. The NVA didn't respond. Conrad ordered the men back to their beds, but sleep was impossible knowing the enemy lurked in the darkness, waiting to strike. To ease their tension, Lemon and his comrades smoked marijuana. At 2:17 a.m., the first rocket slammed into the communication antenna. 400 North Vietnamese soldiers attacked the base defended by only 220 Americans. The explosion jerked Lemon from his bunk. He was high, but adrenaline and training kicked in. He grabbed an M60 machine gun and unleashed hell on the swarming enemy. Mortar rounds exploded everywhere. Small arms fire cut through the air. But Lemon kept firing. When his M60 jammed, he switched to his assault rifle. When that jammed too, he fought with the rifle buttstock in his bare hands. Suddenly, a massive explosion behind him knocked Lemon to the ground. The NVA had hit a 40-ton ammunition pile in the center of the base, shells the soldiers had begged for days to dig in properly, only to be told not to waste time. The blast wounded Americans and Vietnamese alike. Injured but undeterred, Lemon grabbed a wounded buddy, carried him to the aid station, then charged back to his position armed with hand grenades. On his way back, enemy fire hit him again. He kept moving, running, throwing grenades, engaging in hand-to-hand combat. A third wound couldn't stop him. He found another machine gun and opened fire on the NVA still pouring from the jungle. Standing fully exposed atop an embankment, Lemon fired relentlessly until he finally collapsed from blood loss and exhaustion. At 5 a.m., the North Vietnamese withdrew. The base held. When Peter Lemon woke in the aid station, the battle was over. He insisted he was fine but was evacuated by helicopter anyway. The entire garrison of Firebase Illingworth had fought beyond human limits that night. Their gallantry earned dozens of Purple Hearts, several Silver and Bronze Stars, 2 Distinguished Service Crosses, and 1 Medal of Honor awarded to Sergeant Peter C. Lemon. For decades afterward, Lemon refused to wear his medal. He was disgusted with how soldiers were treated and bitter that Firebase Illingworth had been nothing more than human bait, a decoy to lure the enemy from the jungle. Only many years later did Lemon finally wear his medal again, not for himself, but in memory of the brave men who fought alongside him that night.